If you have an unbalanced washing machine, what happens? Well, the washing machine starts to rock. And if it's unbalanced in just the right way, each of those rocks reinforces the other, and the washing machine gets more and more unbalanced as time goes on until eventually it walks away or it falls over, possibly damaging your washing machine forever. And we put our clothes in the washing machine and we're watching it wobble, and we're thinking, should I shut it off and rebalance the load? Or should I just let it finish? And a lot of times we're thinking, I don't want to waste the time to rebalance the load. I'll just let it finish. And then the washing machine falls over and crushes our cat. Because the only way to fix an unbalanced washing machine is to stop the cycle, rebalance the load, and start it back up again. The longer we just let it go, the more those instabilities reinforce each other and cause the thing to get more and more and more out of balance. And this can happen all over the place. At the micro level, we can have two different features that are actually in conflict at a micro level. And we get a bug that says this combat is too easy, so we add more creatures. But then we get a new bug that says this combat is too chaotic, so we take those creatures out, and we just bounce back and forth. In this case, it's not reinforcing itself, so it's not getting worse and worse and worse, but we aren't resolving the underlying issues. How do we deal with this? Well, the only way to deal with it is to stop, consider the situation, rebalance the load, and then move on. Figure out where the balance point is between these two conflicting directions. This is particularly problematic when there isn't really a good answer. There's only a least bad answer, where you're trying to find the compromise in between, or you're trying to choose which of the two bad things you're going to accept. The classic definition of a dilemma. Two or more choices, all of which are bad in some way. This is where that unbalance, that lack of ability to settle can really occur. If there's an obvious correct answer, then you're not going to tend to have this problem occur. But if fixing one thing is going to cause another, then you are going to need to decide where between those two problems you're going to sit. And sometimes there's only two choices, sometimes there's a big spectrum of choices, but how do you decide? Usually what needs to happen is you need to stop, rebalance the load, and then continue. At the micro level, it can be usually pretty easy to deal with. You may not even need to stop what's going on for very long. You just need somebody with enough authority to make the call. We've decided that we would rather have the combat be too easy than to be too chaotic, so we're going to decide to stick with the too few creatures, making it too easy. All done, off we go. You can do that in the comment of a bug. Probably didn't even need to have a meeting. As we move up to bigger features, those conflicts can become more integral. They can become more problematic. We have all of this information we need to pass on to the player, but there just isn't enough space to do it if we allow the player to run around in this level. So what are options? Well, the answer in this case is probably to gather the stakeholders together, talk through all the possibilities, and see if you can come to a solution. That solution might involve making the area bigger. It might involve not allowing the player to run in this case. It might involve editing your banter down so that it all fits. It might involve some combination of all of those things. But if you just have each group work in isolation, they're not going to balance themselves naturally. They're going to work to their own ends, and the thing is going to bounce around until the entire level falls over. But we can keep going up to bigger and bigger problems. If we have a studio that perpetually steals resources at the end of a project cycle in order to ship the current game, what happens? We introduce a debt onto the next project, which almost guarantees that it's going to have to steal resources at the end of its cycle in order to ship. But here we're starting to get into that reinforcement, that acceleration, that building upon the problem. Because project costs, resource costs are continually creeping up. So if this project is short 2 or 3 people, the next project might be short 3 or 4 people, then 5 or 6, then 10, then 20, then 30. And it's getting worse and worse as time goes on until you're willing to stop and rebalance. It's just going to keep getting worse. So the outcome of not pausing to think about what's going on, to reevaluate the situation, potentially to cause a project to ship late on purpose to allow things to settle back down, is eventually your entire studio falls. And this can go all the way up to the corporate level. If we are hiring a bunch of people to ship our current projects, then this puts us in a situation where our costs are too high. And then we lay a bunch of people off. But laying a bunch of people off puts a debt on the existing projects that are in development. So as they approach shipping, we find ourselves in a situation where we have to hire a bunch of people to try to ship on time. But of course, that's less efficient than holding those people. So we've introduced an instability, and now we have too many people after those project ships. And then we end up laying them off in order to save costs. Now we find ourselves short again when the next realm of projects is starting to ship. And of course, this is way less efficient than keeping those trained people working on projects over a longer period of time. But because we aren't able to stop and consider what's going on, because we as a public company are focused on the quarter and we're focused on what our costs look like right now, we're constantly in a state of very short-term thinking. And we're looking at the washing machine spinning around and wobbling like crazy, and we're thinking, well, we just can't turn it off for a quarter or 2 quarters to reevaluate where we are and rebalance the load. We just have to keep going on. We just have to hold the washing machine as steady for as long as we can in order to try to keep the stock price going up. And what we really need to do is we need to slow down. We need to think about what's going on. We need to figure out where we actually should be for a longer time period in order to balance things out and to stop the washing machine from wobbling itself to death. Because as that wobble gets worse and worse and worse, eventually you're not going to be able to patch over it. Eventually it's going to cause the entire machine to topple over. But we can extend this all the way up to society. Do we even have an Overton window anymore? Or have we blown open the acceptable degree of conversation on every topic to the point of us speaking virtually different languages past each other? As a result, we're not really communicating on a lot of topics anymore because the degree of disagreement has reached the point where we have effectively 2 sets of conversations happening with 2 different groups speaking within themselves and basically unable to speak to the other group. Not a promising place to be in. How do you address something like that? Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know how you stop the conversation to rebalance the load in this case. There have been a lot of layoffs in the video game industry this year, and it's really early in the year still. I'm going to just leave that as vague as that, and we'll see if this video remains evergreen for the rest of time. For the most part, you're not going to see the consequences of these layoffs in this year. Instead, you're going to see them next year or the year after, as the projects that are in the earlier parts of their development start to reach the point where they have accumulated enough technical and content debt that this becomes an issue. So why are these layoffs happening right now? Part of this is a correction from the overhiring that happened in 2020 and 2021 during the early days of the pandemic. But it's not just that. As we go through this cycle of cost control for Wall Street, we are going to find that we have exacerbated an unbalance of staffing. But we're not going to see that right away. We're going to see that in a little while. And when that happens, then there will likely need to be another mass hiring that happens in order to try to address that. But what typically happens when there is massive layoffs is some percentage of the people who get laid off leave the industry completely, taking their expertise, taking their ability with them. Some of that specialization, some of that skill is going to be lost from video games forever. But like I said, we're probably not going to see that to a large degree until next year or the year after. In the meantime, a bunch of actual people have lost their actual jobs and are having a pretty tough time of it. Hopefully everyone lands on their feet, but with this degree of layoffs, the entire industry has shrunk by a fairly significant percentage. It's going to be difficult for all the people who got laid off to find places to go. And it's going to be a tough time for them. Special thanks to my members. They provide the resources that this channel needs to keep running. If you're interested in becoming a member or joining our Patreon, there's a link to that down in the description. We have merch I'm wearing. You may all now celebrate briefly. This will be tagged in the video as well. Metaphor, I guess. Obviously, not to, the reading between the lines isn't too hard on this one, since I've literally just written in between the lines. What are some examples of processes you've seen where the lack of stopping to consider where you are has just caused things to accumulate and get worse and worse? Let me know that down in the comments. I will see you again soon. Thank you.